Yo, what is good, everyone? Drizzy MMA here, and today I'm going to be going over my picks for UFC 330, a very hyped up main event between Islam Makhachev and Ian Garry. Islam defending his welterweight title for the first time. This fight is pretty 50-50 if you look at the picks online. A lot of people are picking Islam, a lot of people are picking Garry. I think this fight can go either way. I'll get into my main event predictions later on, but we're going to start it off with the bottom of the card, which before I get into it, this card is very, very bad for a numbered event. I feel like the last couple of fight nights have been better cards than this fight card. So kind of sucks, but I guess the past couple of cards have been pretty stacked, so we're bound to have a bad card like this. I think later on this year the cards start to pick up a little bit more. But yeah, let's get straight into it though with the first fight of the night. Jeremiah Wells taking on Makhachev Oralbai. I'm going to be picking Oralbai to get the win by decision. He has been looking very good at welterweight. I think his last fight was against Chris Curtis, who he beat by decision, and before that he beat Jack Hermanson, where she knocked him out cold, a very nasty knockout. So yeah, I think Makhachev Oralbai is going to get the win. I think by decision. I think his grappling is much better than Jeremiah Wells. I think he's going to use that and just control him the entire fight, outstrike him as well. Kind of get the win based off control, maybe ground and pound damage, maybe even get a submission. But I'm leaning towards a decision win. Jeremiah Wells could knock him out early on. He does have knockout power, but I feel like if he doesn't get the finish within the first couple of minutes of the first round, then it's going to go to Oralbai. So, yeah, I got Makhachev Oralbai getting the win by decision. After that, we got Neil Magny taking on Ramiz Brahimaj. I'm going to be picking the underdog, Neil Magny, to get the win by decision. He's just a much longer, lengthier fighter. I think he's a better striker as well. He does have a big experience advantage in the UFC. He's faced the best of the best at welterweight. He faced in the main event of this card, Ian Garry. So, yeah, I think that experience is going to come in hand. I think Neil Magny has been looking, pretty decent his last couple of fights. But yeah, I got Neil Magny getting the win by decision, most likely. Maybe he could get a TKO finish, but yeah, I'm picking Neil Magny to get the win by decision. After that, in the light heavyweight division, we got Lucas Fernando taking on Rafael Tobias. I'm going to be picking Lucas Fernando to get the win by knockout. He is making his UFC debut. He's been looking very good outside of the UFC and the LFA. Yeah, I'm picking Lucas Fernando to get the win by knockout. He's just a very explosive, powerful fighter. I don't think Rafael Tobias is going to be able to deal with his power, so I got Lucas Fernando early knockout into the first round. After that, we got Vicente Luque taking on Treshawn Gore. I'm going to be picking another underdog right here, Vicente Luque, to get the win. He has been looking pretty good recently. He another fighter that's just very experienced compared to his opponent. Vicente Luque has been in the UFC for so long. He's faced the best of the best. Let's look at his record right here real quick. So he's fought. Let's see. I don't know if it's gonna show. Earlier on, Rafael dos Santos, Bilal Muhammad, Michael Chiesa, Tyrone Woodley, Randy Brown, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. He's faced the best of a lot of good fighters. Jalen Turner, Leon Edwards. Yeah, I'm not gonna go through his whole entire record, but he has faced a lot of top guys in the welterweight division. But now he is at middleweight, and he has been looking good at middleweight recently. His last fight, I thought he was gonna lose before that. I did pick Kevin Gastelum to get the win, but he went out there and submitted Kevin Gastelum. So I think Vicente Luque is gonna be a much better grappler. I think his striking is also a little bit more technical than Treshawn Gore. I think Treshawn Gore has more power. He could knock out Vicente Luque, but I'm leaning towards Vicente Luque to get the win by decision, but maybe he could also get a submission win right here. The next fight is Dante Johnson taking on Eric McConnico. I'm going to be picking Dante Johnson, although he did look pretty bad in his last fight against Cody Brundage. He looked just very sloppy. He just looked very sloppy, but I do think that is going to change. He has been training at Extreme Couture now with Eric Nixick. There's a lot of great fighters there. I think he's going to look a lot more technical in this fight. If you look at the other fighters in that gym, a lot of really good strikers. Sean Strickland, the middleweight champion in the world. We got Dan Ige, Manel Kopp, and Ngannou trains out of there too when he fights. A lot of great fighters there. It's probably one of the best gyms in the United States. So I think he's going to be looking a lot better in this fight. I think he's going to fight a lot smarter. His fight IQ is going to improve with his new camp. So yeah, I got Dante Johnson getting the win by knockout. He does have crazy power. So yeah, we'll see what happens though. But I got Dante Johnson by knockout. After that, we got Charles Johnson taking on Eduardo Chapelin. Eduardo's coming in on like 2 or 3 days' notice. Jose Ochoa did pull out of the fight a couple days ago. He got injured. So I think, coming in on a couple days' notice is never good. I think Charles Johnson is going to get the win purely based off of that. This fight is at catch weight. So I think just the weight cut coming in on short notice, that's gonna all come into play in this fight. So I got Charles Johnson getting the win by decision. He also is a very good fighter. He's a very great striker. He does have knockout power. He knocked out Joshua Van. He knocked out Loner Kavanaugh. I know a lot of people like to say that those knockouts were flukes, but he is a great fighter. He has good wins. He hasn't been looking as good this year, I guess. He did lose to Alex Perez in January, and then he fought somebody else after that, I think in like March, and then he lost like a month ago against Asu Alambayev, where with a very weird looking submission. I don't even know what it was called, but yeah, I think Charles Johnson is gonna get back into the win column and get a decision win, maybe even a knockout win against Eduardo Chapelin. After that, in the welterweight division, we got Chidi and Joe Kuani versus Joel Alvarez. I'm going to be picking Joel Alvarez to get the win by decision, but I could also see him get a submission win as well. He's a very good all-around fighter. He's been looking good at welterweight. He was a very big lightweight and moved up to welterweight. I think that he's a better striker. I think he has better grappling, and he does have very good submission offense. I'm not sure if Chidi's going to shoot on him. You don't really see Joel Alvarez shoot most of the time. His submissions are from people shooting in on him. So I think this fight's going to stay on the feet. That's why I do think this fight will go to decision. I think Joel Alvarez will just outstrike him all 3 rounds and get a decision win. After that, kicking off the main card, we got Edson Barboza versus Esteban Ribovics. Esteban Barboza is just way too old. I feel like this guy should have retired a couple years ago. He hasn't been looking good in his last couple fights. I'm going to be picking Esteban Ribovic to get the win by knockout. He's just a younger, more powerful fighter. He's still improving. He did lose his last fight, but he's still looking better and better each fight. I feel like he's pretty young. He's going to improve. I think this guy's going to end up being, highly ranked one day, at least, in the top 10 one day at lightweight. He's a pretty good fighter. So yeah, I got Esteban Ribovics. He has knockout power. I think he's gonna knock out Edson Barboza early on into this fight. Then we got Mansour Abdul Malik versus Dustin Stolfus. I got Mansour Abdul Malik getting the win by knockout. He is coming off of a loss as well, but he's just a younger, more powerful fighter. I think that is his only loss as well. So I think he's gonna bounce back and get the knockout win over Dustin Stolfus. Then in the lightweight division, the featured bout, we got Jalen Turner taking on Caio Fernandez. I'm going to be picking another underdog in this fight. I got Jalen Turner getting the win by decision or maybe even a late TKO. I think Jalen Turner I think he's a very good fighter. I think he's very underrated. I feel like a lot of people look over Jalen Turner because he has lost some fights, but he's very good. He's another very long, lengthy striker. He has knockout power. Look what he did to Bobby Green. He almost knocked out Renato Moicano as well. Very good fight. I got Jalen Turner getting the win by a decision, but maybe a late knockout. I think he's gonna not necessarily fraud trick Fernandez, but I think he's gonna get the win. Actually, no, he's a favorite now. Okay, he was the underdog earlier when I was checking, but yeah, he's a favorite. I'm picking Jalen Turner to get the win. Then the co-main event of the evening, we got Mackenzie Dern taking on Gillian Robertson. I'm going to be picking Mackenzie Dern to get the win. I just feel like Gillian Robertson's best shot is getting a submission, and I feel like Mackenzie Dern is a much better grappler than Gillian Robertson is. Her base is jiu-jitsu. That's what she was before she got into the UFC, so I think she's going to use that. I don't think Gillian Robertson is going to be able to submit her, and I also think Mackenzie Dern is just a much more well-rounded fighter as well. She's a better striker. And she's going to have a lot more confidence going into this fight. Coming off of a title shot win, that usually happens when a fighter becomes champion. Their whole entire mindset changes. They fight a lot differently. Their confidence is a lot higher. I think she's going to go out here and get a submission win over Gillian Robinson pretty early on, or I could also see this one just going to decision, being a pretty close fight. Gillian Robinson is a very good fighter. I'm not saying she's going to get dominated or anything like that, but I do think Mackenzie Dern is going to win this fight, most likely by submission, but it could also go the distance. Then we got the fight everyone has been waiting for. Islam Makhachev defending his welterweight title for the first time against probably the most hated fighter in UFC history, Ian Machado Garry. I'm going to be picking Islam Makhachev to get the win by submission. I feel like everyone every time Islam fights, the whole entire talk before the fight is saying that his opponent has good takedown defense, that the fight's going to stay on the feet, Islam's going to outstrike him. But Islam's been able to take down everyone that he's fought. The only person he struggled against was Volkanovski in the first fight. And Dustin Poirier, he struggled against him a little bit as well. It was a pretty close fight, but Islam ended up getting a late finish. But I just feel like this fight's going to be, the same as the JDM fight. I think Islam's going to go out there and just take him down and just dominate him and then get a submission win. I think Ian Garry, a lot of people were also talking about the height difference. If you guys saw the face off, Islam is not that much shorter than Ian Garry. The height is pretty similar. I know Islam's listed at 5'10 and Ian Gary's like 6'3, but if you look at them right next to each other, someone's got to be lying about their height because Islam was only like 2 or 3 inches shorter than Ian at most. They looked pretty close in height, and I think Islam is a much larger fighter. He's a lot, thicker, a lot more muscle on him. I think he's gonna be way stronger than Ian. I think once he gets a hold of him, he's gonna take him down. I don't think Ian's gonna be able to defend the takedowns. The only way I can see Ian having success is just kind of running away, circling, staying away from Islam, using those knee stomps, using those leg kicks, kind of similar to his game plan against Bilal Muhammad. Maybe even eye pokes because he did eye poke Bilal Muhammad like 2 or 3 times in that fight. I'm not sure how he didn't get a point taken away. I feel like if he did get the points taken away, I think that fight would have went to Bilal. But yeah, I think Islam's gonna go out there and win. But we'll see, man. Ian Garry is kind of like a style killer. The way he fights is very tough for people. But I think Islam Makhachev has one of the best teams in UFC history, and I think they put together a pretty good game plan to go out there and beat Ian Garry. So yeah, I think Islam Makhachev will go out there. I think the fight will be close. I think Ian might win the first round or two, but I think Islam Makhachev will start to understand how to close that distance, get inside, get the takedown, and I think he's going to submit Ian Garry later on in the fight. And I think if he gets this win, I think Islam Makhachev will go down as the greatest fighter of all time. I think he passes Jones. I think, yeah, in my opinion, if Islam Makhachev wins this fight, my top three would be Islam Makhachev, John Jones, and number three would probably be Volkanovski. I think Volkanovski's up there as well. And Islam beat him twice, so that shows how good Islam is. Let me know who you guys got though for this fight. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to be grinding YouTube, posting a lot of shorts, also on Instagram, TikTok as well. Make sure to go and follow me, Drizzy MMA on all platforms. Let me know your guys' pick. I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace out.